Africa faces increasing challenges from climate change, rapid growing urbanization and urgent need for jobs. Leaders who are currently meeting in Nairobi, Kenya for the 6th African Green Revolution Forum agreed that agriculture offers solutions to food security and employment opportunities. Our correspondent Ayola Kasim reports on today's proceedings.
Africa currently represents a $300 billion food market that is projected to grow to $1 trillion by 2030. The continent spends between $30 to $40 billion annually on food import. How to turn the market in favor of Africa and more than 70% of its population who engage in agriculture is the focus of policymakers, experts and other stakeholders in the agri-sector who are gathered here in Nairobi for the African Green Revolution Forum.
The ticking time bomb debate.
The Kenyan president, in his keynote speech at the opening ceremony, asked African leaders to change their mindsets towards the agricultural sector.
Until this sector is transformed, our hopes of industrialization as a continent and for us to have a flourishing manufacturing sector will be a little more than a pipe dream.
His Rwandan counterpart says it is time for Africa to move beyond the rhetorics and just do it.
It's to make sure that we move from what we already know that needs to be done, what we repeat so much every day, to really doing something that brings this to fruition.
Sub-Saharan Africa's population is the fastest growing of any region in the world and on track to reach 1.4 billion by 2030. To stay on course for food and nutritional security, agriculture, experts say, represents a solution if the African government could do better going forward.
We can see now that the hour has come for us to seize the moment. We are launching here the campaign for African agriculture. We want to make that big final push.
The leaders here in Nairobi are urging everyone to seize the moment by joining the efforts to ensure Africa's rise through agricultural transformation. Ayola Kasim reporting for Channels Television News.
Let's come back home now and take a look at some sports. Here's Ayotunde Balogun.
Many thanks, Ize-iyamu. Well, the 2016 Paralympic Games kicked off in Rio de Janeiro with thousands of athletes from around the world taking part in the Games. The opening ceremony included the live creation of a work of art by ceremony director and renowned Brazilian artist Vic Muniz. Around 4,350 athletes from more than 160 countries will be competing in more than 500 medal events in 22 different sports. The Paralympic torch visited 5 cities: Brasilia, Belém, Natal, Joinville and Sao Paulo. Team Nigeria athletes are hoping to surpass the feat achieved in London 2012, where they won 6 gold, 5 silver and 1 bronze. Meanwhile, Russia is holding a 2-day competition for its Paralympic squad banned from Rio. President of Russian Paralympics Committee Vladimir Lukin said the event will give its banned Paralympians an opportunity to showcase their skills. The International Paralympic Committee barred the entire Russian Paralympic team from competing in Rio after an investigation found that Moscow ran a state-sponsored sports doping program. The Court of Arbitration for Sport last month dismissed an appeal against the ban. Rangers striker Tokwe Oluseyi has been handed a 3-match ban after he was sent off for headbutting a Rivers United player at the weekend. The former Heartland opening goal before he set up Godwin Aguda for the second, as Rangers ran away 4-0 winners over closest rivals Rivers United on Sunday. He was sent off in the 62nd minute for his rough challenge against Rivers United striker Bernard Ovoke. He will now miss his team's games against Shooting Stars in Ibadan on Saturday, a home match against Sunshine Stars and an away fixture at Ikorodu United. However, he will be available for the club's final game at home to El Kanemi Warriors. Boxing fans need not wait for long, as the much anticipated Tyson Fury's rematch with Vladimir Klitschko has been confirmed for October the 29th at the Manchester Arena. Fury was due to defend his WBA Super and WBO heavyweight titles against the Ukrainian on July the 9th, but was forced to pull out of the fight because of an ankle injury. A press conference to officially announce the fight will be held in London on Monday, September the 12th. And that's a wrap in sports news. I'm Ayotunde. Balogun, the news at 10 continues shortly.
A high court in Zimbabwe has overturned a 2-week ban by the police on demonstrations in the capital, Harare. The Zimbabwe High Court judge, Priscilla Chigumba, ruled that the ban on protests was illegal and the independence of the judiciary and the rule of law was important to democracy. The challenge was brought by activists who are opposed to President Robert Mugabe and his government. They described the court ruling as a brave judgment. Mr. Mugabe had said that judges had shown reckless disregard for peace and warned that they should not dare be negligent when making future decisions. The British government says the construction of a UK-funded wall near Calais, so-called jungle migrant camp, will begin very soon. Dubbed the Great Wall of Calais by some media, the 4-metre wall will run for 1 kilometre along both sides of the main road to the port. The wall is meant to protect the road from disruption by migrants, thousands of whom live at the jungle camp. Meanwhile, migrants and NGOs say more and more residents of the camp are giving up hopes of crossing the Channel to Britain and are choosing to seek asylum in France. And as the battle for Syria continues to rage, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says there could be joint action between his government and the United States to drive so-called Islamic State from its Syrian stronghold of Raqqa. Mr. Erdogan reveals that the idea of a joint action against the militants was floated at the G20 summit in China. He adds that with the US involved, Turkey would have no problem with such joint action. Last month, Turkey launched an operation inside Syria, targeting both IS and Kurdish rebels. And the main news again. The Police and Department of State Services today asked INEC to postpone the Edo State governorship election, citing a plot by insurgents and extremists to cause havoc during the period. The electoral umpire, however, says it's yet to be officially informed about the advisory from the security agencies. Also today, the National Council of State and the Police Council confirmed the appointment of Mr. Ibrahim Idris as Inspector General of Police. Mr. Idris had been occupying the position in an acting capacity. And a high court in Zimbabwe overturned a 2-week police ban on demonstrations in the capital, Harare, following a suit filed by anti-Mugabe activists. And that's the news at 10 tonight. Thanks so much for staying with us. I'm Ize-iyamu. Good night.